Every year, professional teams from around the world travel to France to race multi-million-dollar engineering marvels for 24 hours. But this is not France. There are no professionals here. These cars cost $500 and no one is marveling at them. These are lemons. But what are they? Why do people do this? And what's it like? For the next 2 days, I'll be hanging out with the Pony Keg team and their trusty steed, Marge. Marge is a 1986 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme Brougham that has been heavily modified. But we'll talk more about Marge, her issues, and the team that rides her later. Because like any real race, this one starts with a mandatory driver safety meeting. Though this one is a bit different.
And the thing that as a Midwesterner I feel compelled to talk about most is the weather. If you've been here for more than 45 minutes, you know that it has rained off and on like 3 times already. That is the most dangerous kind of condition. It gives you a lot of false confidence. Here's what you should expect today on the racetrack.
Weather, crashes, mud, and more are expected to be issues this weekend. Endurance races are won by keeping your car on the track. The team that completes the most laps by the end of the weekend takes home the trophy. But first, you have to get your car out there, and Marge isn't quite ready for that.
220 is the warning zone, like something's going wrong if we're running that hot.
Yeah, it's right here.
Okay, good.
You need the number on it? Can you reach the wiper switch? Great, all right.
That should all be resolved. Last time we drove the entire weekend, didn't have that problem.
So while the Pony Keg team may still be wrestling with their GoPro, everyone else is headed to the track.
A beautiful PT Cruiser, yeah! The family wagon!
The race has started, but we have not. The rules of lemon racing are simple. Take $500, buy a car, get it ready to race, and spend any money you have left over on beer. Safety equipment doesn't count towards your $500. There are 3 race classes that range from we're gonna win to we're gonna try. But everyone is on the track at the same time. At a lemons race, winning isn't everything. There are other prizes for various forms of creativity. Marge is firmly in the we're gonna try class, but a few years ago, she won. Class C anyway.
Otherwise, you're next. This is live. We're good.
Finally, the GoPro is connected and Marge is ready to race. Behind the wheel first is Elvis, and this won't be his last time racing either. But did you catch that? Marge isn't the only horse-themed car on the track. We'll have to keep an eye on that. And the crashes have already begun. Stay safe out there, Marge. Back in the pits, some cars have already returned with mechanical issues. Others haven't even had a chance to race yet. This is Buttercup. Buttercup does a lot with very little, but as one of the 2 horse-themed cars, we're extremely focused on beating this team. What Buttercup lacks in cornering speed and aerodynamics, she more than makes up for with heart and soul. A couple short hours later, and it's time to return to the pits for some donuts, a driver change, refueling, and some mechanical tweaks. Oh yeah, Marge backfires. Hopefully that's not a sign of future issues. Our next driver is Jason. Quick pit stops are crucial to keeping your car on the track and accumulating laps. On this one, we did okay.
Before, we just didn't use the brakes. We would go through a set of brakes a day. Like right now, I feel really good.
Yeah.
I feel really good because I didn't break the car, I didn't hit anybody, didn't spin out, put a tire off. But so I had that little like power slide, but all controllable. Passed a couple people, had a lot of people pass me.
You said the pipe was full of water when he drove. It shot it all.
Yeah, the cool air pipe.
Another interesting quirk of Lemons Racing is the black flag. If you do something dangerous, break a rule, or generally drive like a dick, you'll get a black flag. If you get a black flag, you have to leave the track and get a stern talking to from the race organizers. They'll decide your punishment, if any. Get 3 black flags, and you wish you hadn't. But it's early in the race, and no one has had time to do that. Yet. Let's check in on the track and see how Jason and Marge are getting along. Reports from the track are that water and mud are a problem, but on a day that was supposed to be rain all day, this isn't bad at all.
Rain is back with a vengeance. God.
Back in the pits, this Toy Story themed truck is ready to head back out. Piles of debris are growing all over the place, and now there are a few teams who've had a chance to rack up enough black flags to really do some damage. These fellas were tasked with raising money for charity. Only after raising a certain and rather large amount of money could they get back on the track.
You guys trying to raise money? For a good cause? Yeah. For a black flag. Come on!
The children,
Kids there!
feeling
Black
deep in
flag.
your heart to give to us today.
Thank you. We're gonna be back on the track in no time.
2 hours later, and Marge came roaring back into the paddock.
Over your ears.
Did you hear that? That's Eddie, and he said, "Cover your ears." This particular intricacy of Marge would take me a while to learn.
It's so good. Let's go. She's running so good.
But you had full brake whenever you wanted it.
Whenever we want it. They were
All right.
fantastic.
Good.
She's running so good.
You were ripping, dude.
Marge is running with some of those Class A cars. Emmerich, it's finally real, dude. She's killing it. Marge is full gallop.
Next in the driver's seat, Amrit, the team leader. To this point, Amrit's main focus has seemingly been connecting the GoPro to live stream on Facebook. But that's an absurd view of this race. I wasn't here to see all the work that went into making a $500 car race ready. The multiple engine swaps, the constant mechanical improvements, and obviously the decor. The amount of time that this team has put into this car just to get to the start line absolutely dwarfs the time we'll spend here this weekend. So go get 'em, Amrit. In an attempt to capture the race from a different perspective, I took a long walk through a system of tunnels to get to the other side of the track. When I got to the other side, Buttercup was getting a tow. This car was playing in the mud. This car was also getting a tow. But Marge and Amrit were nowhere to be seen. And when that happens, it's a pretty good sign that you've got an issue. Hopefully that's not them.
Well, you just give me the angle grinder right now.
Yeah, just give me
I'll just do it.
Take a wheel off, dude.
I can try not to cut my finger off. Let's be honest.
I add value by not getting in the way.
It's like jazz. I know what
Last
notes
bit.
not to play.
take more off the top there?
No, it looks great from here.
Well, there's a.
That area
right
next to
there?
the pipe is what I want to find out about.
When in doubt, cut it out. With the repairs complete,
Hey, car's
it's
going down.
Eddie's turn to get behind
Okay.
the wheel. What happened?
Caught on fire. So it was being that close to the exhaust, it just caught on fire.
And that inner fender liner is plastic anyway.
Yeah.
So
So it was oil and
It was
plastic.
oil
melting,
and
yeah.
plastic, and then one of the zip ties melted as well.
Oh, penalty.
Seemingly the moment Eddie hit the track, he found his way off the track. And driving like that will earn you a black flag.
You overshot 7?
You overdrove your horse.
How many laps were you in the car? Impressive, huh? Impressive.
Probably should like take it a couple notches back and figure it all out before you try going fast on your horse. Well, then get back out there and don't up. Suck less. All right.
You got this, Eddie. Eddie would take Marge to the checkered flag on day one. But just because this day's racing is over, that doesn't mean the work is done. Far from
Well,
it.
and having brakes gives you a little more confidence.
Yeah, the brakes are. We still have a brake issue.
Oh, yes, I know.
For Marge, a fairly straightforward tire rotation. For other teams, work would continue into the early morning. As the only person on the team who's been black flagged, Eddie also has some explaining to do.
He hopped the football field worth of asphalt and then said, wait a minute, what am I doing here?
After the S's, down the hill, into the chicane. Yeah, went off, all four wheels. I was gonna save it, and I was like, nope, just turned into the mud. Went off, came back on, and the tires are covered in mud.
Yeah.
And I turn right, and the back just goes. And I'm like, no.
Day 2 at Lemon Sonoma. It is a beautiful day today. Great day for racing. Might not stay that way. Today is a special day. Marge is ready to race on time, and what's more, the organizers have decided to do something special. First behind the wheel today is Simon. At this point, victory feels out of reach, but top 20 or even top 10 in the class isn't out of the question. Day 2 race is about to begin. Cars are lining up and they're doing an all furry car start, as it should be. Marge just behind Buttercup, but that shouldn't last for long. Marge is smoking. That doesn't look good. To avoid, well, disaster, Lemon's races begin with a rolling start. But the next time we see these cars, the race will be on. Simon and Marge would start brilliantly, but this is a clear sign of a problem.
We don't know what's happening.
That's fine now. It looked like you were struggling.
Literally, like, I had to, like, go in second gear and first gear. Like, it was bad, yeah.
It's hot, just let it cool down a little bit for a few minutes. Go back out there. I want to zip tie this around here, just so it doesn't happen to ground out against this.
Some zip ties, some rest, and some staring at the engine, and Marge is ready to ride again. Now, where's Buttercup? But this is another bad sign.
To drop the idle. That's the problem. So.
Marge has got a problem, but we still don't really know what's causing it. All we can do is try and prepare for a more serious failure.
It's about 12, which either means alternator is busted or overheating or both.
Shirtless Tom's weekend is over and he's selling his car part by part. But unfortunately, he doesn't have the part we need. That means Amrit, Eddie, and I are going on a journey.
Oh, Braille, but that's what he was talking about. Lightweight, AGM.
Does it even say the size on there? I think it's 48. I'm guessing that's type 48.
And so this has a screw-in stud that goes in there?
Yeah, they come in the box with the screw-in stud.
This store is great and absolutely worth a trip if you're at the track. But they can't have everything. So Eddie is off to make the customary trip to the auto parts store. And I'm heading back over to the track because Simon is still out there. Maybe this problem fixed itself. That happens sometimes, right?
Yeah, he's hovering around, 232.
What Eddie's saying is Marge is running great and Simon is driving her really well. And a couple of hours later...
It's not running right, but you can race people. You were moving. Started getting nauseous like that last lap, so I'm like, all right, I'm done.
And with that, Jason's back in the car to see what he can do. But before we take a hike to the other side of the track to get a look at this race from a different perspective, there's no shortage of people getting in trouble on day 2. This group of gentlemen was reluctant to tell me what they actually did wrong. But the issue isn't really that hard to spot. It's right there. Back on the track, Jason is driving this thing like he just stole it. In a good way. Part of the culture of Lemons Racing is the pit vehicles. Next time, I've got to have one. And while there are certainly more men than women here, Lemons racing is absolutely a family sport.
You married a man who races lemons. What's that like?
It involves a lot of time hanging out in a garage. Sometimes I don't see him at home, and if he's ever gone, he's usually in the garage. A lot of tinkering, and sometimes when we're driving, he's can break the law and speed a lot, so.
I don't know what to say to that.
But make no mistake, while family is clearly important to these men, this weekend is all about the team.
That's what used to be a good team.
Chasing that car like 2 laps.
The GoPro live stream is now broadcasting without issue, and that helps us see that Jason and Marge are on their way into the pits.
She handles great.
All right, we can push you over here. Or you want to drive?
Just push it. Yeah.
All right, let's push.
Let's see if any of the issues from this morning are still causing trouble.
Woo! Good job, Marge.
Up next in the driver's seat is Elvis, and with only 3 or 4 more hours left in the race, he's likely the second to last driver of the weekend. Of course, in a race like this, there's always an issue with the car. Fortunately, this one was minor. Elvis has been chomping at the bit all day to get his shot to race. That's a good sign. But like we saw with Eddie yesterday, too much excitement can be a detriment. So we're headed back over to the grandstands to see if he can keep Marge on the track. Once again, Marge has gone missing.
Oh no, I hope that's not him.
He got black flagged.
Oh.
And then we're like, did you really get black flagged? And like, he didn't. He just didn't know. He saw him pointing a black flag at him, so he came in.
Okay.
It was like, nah, wait till they really black flag you, and then you come in.
See it twice before you come in.
Yeah, but yeah, he, like the big question was, he'd already been out there 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's like, do you want to go for another hour?
We're in 13th place, which is good for, well, nothing really. Racing the final lap of a weekend like this is a victory, but we'd love to finish in the top 10. And Elvis is back on the course for another hour of racing, and with a job to do. With just a few laps to go, Elvis has worked his way up to 11th place. The only thing standing between this team and a top 10 finish is a 2007 Volkswagen GTI, my old car. And to be clear, for the Pony Keg team, this weekend is already a win. A top 10 finish would be nice, but that's not going to stop us from celebrating a bit early. Anyway, back to the race. After more than 3 hours on the track with Marge, Elvis returned to a hero's welcome.
Backfire?
That was epic. Cheers, man.
Fair, brother.
And you kept that.
P10.
There was a car that was a lap behind us, that Beetle, that gray and blue Beetle. And we're like, God, I hope Elvis stays at it. I hope he stays at it.
Yeah, that was a nail biter. Oh yeah, we got Mustang paint.
A little bit of lipstick for the Mustang.
Good job, Marge.
We didn't win the race. We didn't win our class. We didn't even win an award. And despite that, it's really not hard to see why these teams race and what keeps them coming back. Thank you to the Lemons community, the teams that race this weekend, everyone that spoke to me, and especially the Pony Keg team. There's nothing less fun than having some dude with the camera crash your one weekend off. But you welcomed me immediately. Thank you for the unearned hospitality. And thank you for watching. If you made it this far, you might want to hit subscribe. And if you want to see me race on trains, then watch this video. See you next time.